Hello future officers, welcome to a learning session of NewsKase, wherein we bring you current affairs news that is integrated to the prelims as well as the mains. Right? And the topic for today's discussion is GLOF, that is Glacial Lake Outburst Flow. Right? And what is the source of the news? It was all across the papers, be it The Hindu, Indian Express, Down to Earth, or any other newspaper. So it was all across the board. What is the relevance of this particular topic? Now, this particular topic, it is very important, especially with regards to GS paper 1, wherein we have geography. Right? Or geography syllabus mein it has been explicitly mentioned changes in the water bodies or ice caps. Right? Also, as part of GS paper 3 environment ecology as well as disaster management, and also in geography optional. So this topic pertains to climate change, disaster management, disaster mitigation, right? And there was a previous year question also that was directly about GLOF. So that was question number 5 part E in 2019 geography optional paper 2. Examine the problems of glacial lake outburst flow in India. It was directly been asked, and it is a no surprise that this question might also appear in GS, that is the general studies paper, right? And finally, at the end of the session, we will see some of the ASP, that is answer writing points, that what points should be included if a question comes with regards to this GLOF. So what is the context? So the context behind this particular news is glacial lake outburst flow kills 14 in Sikkim. Right. So it was there in Indian Express. Here is why Chongthang hydro dam breach is a big deal. Right. So let us see about GLOF. Sabse pehle, what do we mean by GLOF? That should be very much clear. So, due to retreat of glaciers, glacial lakes form. अब सबसे पहले हमें एक चीज क्लियर होना चाहिए. It is not a very difficult topic to comprehend or understand. It is very simple topic, right? So, glacial lakes are formed, और glacial lakes किस वजह से बनती हैं? Glacial lakes are created because of retreating of glaciers, that is because of the melting of glaciers. Or if glaciers they melt, they form lakes, right? And these lakes they are naturally dammed. Naturally dam ban jata hai kiske through? With the help of moraines and with the help of ice. Now what are moraines? So moraine is nothing but accumulation of the earth and the stones which are carried and deposited by glaciers, right? So glacial lake is formed, or glacial lake ka there is natural dam which is created, and this GLOF, that is glacial lake outburst flow, is nothing but वो जो dam है, जो natural dam है, it is breached, right? It is breached. So due to the retreat of glaciers, glacial lakes form, and these lakes are dammed by moraine and ice. And when water dammed by a glacier or moraine is released suddenly, now these are the important words. If the water is released suddenly, it is known as glacial lake outburst flow. I hope this is clear. And why these glacial lakes? These are important. These glacial lakes are very important because they hold crucial geological information. They hold information with regards to any environmental changes that have taken place in the past. They hold information crucial with respect to the fossils, with respect to the landforms, right? So these are the treasure houses of important geological information, right? And GLOFs, they often result into catastrophic flooding especially downstream areas. It results into catastrophic like conditions, right? With major geomorphic as well as socio-economic impacts. And do we have any examples of GLOF in the past also? Yes, definitely we do have, especially in the areas of Uttarakhand, 2013. Who can forget the tragedy which has happened? So in 2013, Kedarnath in Uttarakhand witnessed the flash floods along with a GLOF caused by Chorabari Tal. Right. So again, this was created as a consequence of retreat of glaciers. Right. So I hope the concept of GLOF is clear. What do you mean by GLOF? Right. Ab exam mein definitely we cannot draw this particular image. So for exam, you can definitely create some simple images. Right. Like you can create very simple images. So you can show a mountain, right? And you can show glacier, right? You can show glacial lake, right? You can show and never ever forget to label the diagrams, otherwise they hold no value or significance. और ग्लेशियर मेल्ट की वजह से we have glacial lake, और ये जो ग्लेशियल लेक है इट इज डैम्ड बाय, मतलब इसका बांध बन जाता है किसके द्वारा? इट इज थ्रू द मोरेन्स एंड द आइस, which is carried by the glaciers. Now these are normal conditions, right? These are the normal condition. Now what happens during, or what causes this glacial lake outburst flow is nothing but ये जो glacier है, right? Glacier, if it melts very rapidly, right? If it melts very rapidly, so you can create another diagram wherein you can show that lot of the glacier it has melted, and also there is increase in the volume of glacial lake, and due to which the dammed glacier is breached. And there are several reasons for it. We will see this. And why this GLOF is a cause of concern? This GLOF is a cause of concern because it leaves or gives no time. Authorities or the communities, they have insufficient time to effectively deal with this. Because warning time is very less. It happens all of a sudden. And one of the reasons is cloudburst, or cloudburst की वजह से we have flash floods. So effective action के लिए we require some time. So that is a cause of concern. Also, they often become triggers for other disasters. It can lead to, this GLOF can lead to other disasters also, which are termed as cascading disasters. आपने सुना होगा domino effect. So cascading effect, cascading disaster. What are cascading disasters? It refers to cascading effects of extreme event in which the vulnerabilities they overlap, and very important to remember is that escalation points are reached in which, so which creates secondary effects, और वो जो secondary effect हैं वो primary effect से कहीं ज़्यादा विकराल या भयंकर होते हैं, right? With greater impacts than the primary event itself. For example, Nanda Devi Glacier outburst in 2021. It actually triggered landslide. It caused avalanches, deluges and flash floods. So primary event क्या था? Primary event was GLOF. but it has a cascading impact, right? So I hope this is clear. So what has happened actually in Sikkim? So you can create a map wherein you have to clearly show what has happened and where it has happened. So what is the name of the lake? This is very important. You must learn this. So this is South Lonak Lake in Northern Sikkim. If UPSC wants to confuse you or UPSC इस पे prelims का question बनाना चाहेगा, so it would give you South Lonak Lake in South Sikkim. क्योंकि आप सब पढ़ के जाएंगे South Lonak Lake और वहां पे वो UPSC can add a word South Sikkim. It is not South Sikkim, it is North Sikkim. North Sikkim mein there is South Lonak Lake, right? And then we have, you can see which river is there. This is Teesta River, right? This is Teesta River and name of the dam is Chongthang Dam. So these you have to remember. So what has happened? What has led to this catastrophic event which has claimed several lives? So the incessant rains was because of cloudburst. Cloudburst, it has led to rains, right? Heavy rains, and heavy rains की वजह से क्या हो गया? वो जो dam था, right? The glacial lake, the dam was breached, right? And it resulted into sudden rise of the level in Teesta River. और Teesta River के अंदर when there was sudden increase in the levels of Teesta, it led to flash flood, and this led to the breach of Chongthang Hydro Dam in Sikkim. तो आप इसको कैसे show कर सकते हैं? This you can show with the help of a flow chart. You can mention cloudburst. Cloudburst की वजह से what we have? Rains, heavy rains, rise in water levels of river Teesta, right? This has led to a flash flood and we have breaching of the dam. So you can generate a flow chart also, right? Now what are the causes or the reasons behind GLOF? So first and the foremost is glacial retreat, that is melting of glaciers. But question is, why does this happens, or why is it happening more frequently nowadays? So one of the major reasons is climate change, because climate change, it is driving extreme weather events like the GLOF, and we can have several other reasons for it, like landslides and ice avalanches. What landslides and avalanches would do? They would add to the load of glacial lake और उसकी वजह से again the dam would be breached. बचपन में सभी ने कहानी सुनी होगी thirsty crow, right? Pebbles डाले और पानी बाहर आ गया. बस वही केस है कि जो लेक है, जो ग्लेशियल नेचुरली जो लेक क्रिएटेड है, उसके अंदर वाटर लेवल इज इंक्रीजिंग. अब वो इंक्रीज कैन बी फ्रॉम नंबर ऑफ रीजंस, डिफरेंट रीजंस. क्लाउड बर्स्ट, हैवी रेनफॉल, लैंडस्लाइड हो गया, राइट? देन ऑल्सो द लेवल कैन इंक्रीज. एवलांचेस, इट कैन ऑल्सो लीड टू इंक्रीज, एंड वी कैन हैव different meteorological conditions, right? Again because of climate change which has been induced by anthropogenic factors or reasons. Again moraine formation, geological triggers, and developmental changes. Now development is good, development is desired, but not unsustainable or haphazard development. What is required is sustainable development, right? And what are the impacts? We have different impacts on environment, because there is loss of ecosystem, forest and the wildlife, loss of human lives and spread of diseases thereof. Economical losses also, because loss of infrastructure, be it the dams, buildings, communication networks, right? And then ruining of established settlements or villages. Cost of rescue and rehabilitation, it also adds to loss of GDP. Right. So what can be done about this? क्या किया जा सकता है इसके लिए? So what are the mechanism and preparedness? Be it GLOF, be it any other natural disaster, some points are common. That is Sendai framework, right? That is national NDMA guidelines, National Disaster Management Authority guidelines, right? So first is hazard and risk assessment and mapping. This is the first and the foremost thing to be done with respect to any of the natural hazard, because it is our preparedness which prevents a hazard from becoming a disaster, right? So we have to identify from where and how likely hazard processes are to initiate, right? And we have to identify the potential threat from the hazard for the downstream areas, and accordingly we have to prepare map for decision making as well as for planning. Thereafter, monitoring of what? Monitoring and measurement of river and the lake water levels, right? And monitoring can be done by tracking guides and the local people. Field investigation of critical lakes. Use of technology, definitely, because these areas are one of the most tough in terms of terrain, right? So definitely use of technology, and you can mention synthetic aperture radar imagery, right? और the simply आप mention कर सकते हैं remote sensing satellites, or you can mention Indian remote sensing and advanced wide field sensor. So कोई भी आप एक नाम याद रख सकते हैं and you can mention in your examination. Thereafter, proper land use planning should be done, right? Most effective and economical ways of reducing losses due to landslides by avoiding the hazard and minimizing the risk. Now this is one of the biggest threats or challenges that is emerging, which is change in land use. Change in land use, be it for agricultural purposes, be it for urbanization, be it for industries. This has to be very well thought of, right? And need to develop land-based planning regulations concerning the increasing risk of future GLOF events, and very important, early warning system, right? So national policy on disaster management, it emphasizes the need to establish, upgrade and modernize forecasting and early warning system for all types of disasters, right? Artificial drainage system. Now these are all very logical, right? फ्लड से बचाना है तो क्या होना चाहिए? मॉनिटरिंग प्रॉपर होना चाहिए, किसका? वाटर लेवल्स का. मेंटेनेंस शुड बी प्रॉपर, right? Artificial drainage system so as to reduce the water with various methods to manage the lakes structurally. Then restricting constructions and development in GLOF prone areas. Now this is very crucial and very important. Also capacity building by providing training to the local people, right? Because most of the time over 80% of search and rescue is carried out by the local community even before the intervention of the state machinery and specialized search and rescue teams. Then insurances and compensation for losses. Now what has been in news? That this Changtung hydroelectric project, it won't get 100% insurance, right? It would only be getting a sum of 500 crores, right? And creation of community awareness. So community awareness, now this is one point which is common all across the disasters. Not only disasters, कोई भी policy program है, it won't be successful if there is lack of awareness in public. So in short, you can mention about Sendai framework, you can mention about NDMA guidelines, right? Then national landslide susceptibility mapping and community based early warning systems. I hope this is clear. And what is the lesson learned? So the Chungthang hydro dam breach underscores importance of stringent safety measures, right? And the ongoing maintenance in the hydroelectric sector, because this failure, right, this breach of dam, right, it has highlighted very important issue with regards to clean source of energy. Definitely clean source of energy is required, but safety is also paramount, right? And it serves as a reminder of the potential risk which are associated with large scale infrastructure projects and the need for robust disaster preparedness. In fact, this was asked in UPSC mains, right? That large scale infrastructure projects, they often attract controversy. There are many issues like rehabilitation of the local population, right? It is one of them. So what are the ASP or the answer sheet points? That is, these are those points which must come into your answer to put things into perspective. फ्रांस में कौन सी भाषा बोली जाती है? इट इज फ्रेंच. जर्मन में जर्मन. इसी तरीके से एवरी सब्जेक्ट हैज गॉट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कीवर्ड्स. नाउ इफ अ क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटिंग टू ग्लॉफ, तो वहां पे कुछ कीवर्ड्स आने चाहिए, लाइक मोरेन is one of them, right? And certain datas that you should revise, that you should have handy with you. So rapid deglaciation, right? This is one keyword. And there has been increase in population which is living in close proximity to glacial lakes between year 2002 and 2022. And according to ICI MOD, sorry. Now this organization, it works in study of cryosphere, Hindu Kush region, right? So Himalayan glacial lakes, they have increased by 9% in number and 14% in area. So as a result or consequence of global warming, glaciers are retreating at a much faster rate. In the past 3 decades, we have lost the ice of the last 2000 years. Right? And GLOFs are recognized in National Disaster Management Plan 2019 as a potential climatological disasters. So these are some of the answer sheet points which you should keep in mind while writing the answer for the same. Right? Now there was a mention of Teesta river. So we should know that Teesta is a tributary of river Brahmaputra. It flows through Shivaliks, right? So Teesta is a tributary of Brahmaputra which flows through India and Bangladesh, and it originates in the Himalayas near Chungthang in Sikkim and flows to the south through West Bengal before entering Bangladesh. Are questions being asked on river tributaries? Yes, definitely. Year was 2017. And I want you to please comment down the answer. What is the answer, right? So with reference to river Teesta, right, consider the following statement. The source of river Teesta is the same as that of Brahmaputra, but it flows through Sikkim. Second, river Rangit originates in Sikkim and it is a tributary of river Teesta. And the third statement, river Teesta flows into Bay of Bengal on the border of India and Bangladesh. So you have to choose the correct one. 1 and 3 only, 2 only, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 3. So please comment down what is the answer for this. And there is a mains question also. Now there is a mains practice question also which reads, discuss the linkages between cryosphere change with water, ecosystems and society in Hindu Kush Himalayas. Right. So try writing answer on this, because answer writing से ही exam clear होगा. Right. And there's a report also that is high wise. So it is water, ice, society and ecosystems in the Hindu Kush Himalayas, that is high wise. So with glaciers disappearing at an unprecedented rate due to climate change, scientists warn of devastating consequences for people and nature from the region's changing cryosphere. This has been an important theme for UPSC, because UPSC has already asked that what would be the effect of retreating Himalayan glaciers on water resources of India. Right. I hope the concept of GLOF, it is clear. Right. So thank you very much. Right. So it is before the flood, you can see what is the situation, and after the flood. So here is a food for thought before leaving. So it reads, the science is clear, the future is not. Right. So thank you very much. We will meet with some other important topic. Till then, have a good time.